Live from the 4 Points by Sheridan in downtown Tallahassee. This is a WTXL ABC 27 special presentation. You're watching the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show. Brought to you in part by the following sponsors. The Gem Collection. Academy Sports and Outdoors. Pizza Hut. Doorstep Delivery. Awards for You. Tallahassee Board of Realtors. Tallahassee Eye Center. Napleton Infinity. Benson's Heating and Air. Tallahassee Community College. Cars, Trucks, and Credit. Dunkin' Donuts. And Ramjack. And now, here's the voice of the Seminoles, Gene Deckerhoff, and head coach Jimbo Fisher.
Hello and good evening and welcome to the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show. For those of you watching on ABC 27, we are here, we are live, and we are talking football with head coach Jimbo Fisher. If you're in the area, we originate the program from the 4 Points by Sheridan. And let's see, Saturday afternoon, 12 noon. You like those 12 noon kickoffs, Coach? Huh?
It was good when you got home.
It was especially at a home game, but we go out and take care of business. Coach Louisville came in. They had a tremendous game plan. They had a week to prepare for us, and we sort of had a few false starts there in the first half, but we got it going. And once we got it going, Coach, my goodness, we didn't look back.
We did. No, we scored the 5 straight drives in the second half, and but we need to start a little better. Had some opportunities early, but like I said, shot ourselves in the foot with some self-inflicted wounds on some things. We have a player or two on defense when Trey got hurt, and we got our bearings back, and but up and down in the game. But I knew going in, Louisville was going to be ready to play. They've got really good players. They've got a really good football team, and we made the adjustments, and very proud of our team.
A very big Atlantic Division victory over Louisville, a team that we're going to play year in and year out, Coach.
Oh, yeah.
Year in and year, and they're always going to have great talent. They're going to come in. Well, you made the comment, we had 11 players drafted last year. Louisville had 10, the second most in the conference.
I mean, second most in the country.
In the country.
I mean, nobody after that. So, I mean, they still got a bunch more they'll get drafted this year. So, I mean, they've got a good team.
Coach, the difference in the first half to the second half, Everett Golston just gets in a rhythm there in the second half. I mean, completes every pass except the ones he wants to get rid of. And then he also hands the ball off a little more frequently to number 4. And that combination has been really successful.
Well, we got 4 running. That made the passes a lot easier. And we protected. We got in a rhythm. We played better around him. And we did what we did. And played like we could practice, and we were practicing and doing those kind of things. We just got to learn to relax at the beginning of the game. We want to do too well sometimes and press ourselves a little bit. It's got to relax.
Halfway through the season, 6-0. You have fans, you like 6-0 halfway through the season? Move up in one poll, stay the same in the other, number 9 in the country, and we get ready to go on the road. Begin the second half of the season against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. We'll talk a little bit more about Georgia Tech as the show goes on. If you have a question here in our audience, the microphone is Diane. You know the microphone is right here. You can come up and grab it. She always has a question.
She always got a good question.
We have phone caller standing by, Jonathan? We do. Guess who? Mike from Jacksonville is our first caller. You ready for Coach?
Let's go, buddy.
Mike from Jacksonville, you're on the air with Jimbo. Go ahead.
Touchdown, Florida State.
All right.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Mike.
Real quick, I'm real happy about the defense. Coach, I think we got the pride of FSU defense back, stopping the rush. Nobody's got 100 yards in the last 2 games on us. And now let me get into my stat and get to talking about this week. I wasn't real one little section in the defense last week was 3rd and 10 plus. Mm-hmm. Really got us. I know you're going to work on them corners back there, but they got it about 3 or 4 times on us. But let me get to this week. Their stat is, here's the stat. There's 128 teams in the country. Georgia Tech's 123 and passing the ball. But on the other end, they're number 8 in the country in rushing. Coach, and Gene, you'll know this. I played for Warren Motors softball way back a long time ago. What we used to do is pull everybody up till they threw one over us. My question to you, we're going to pull things up a little bit. I don't think this team can throw the ball, but maybe pull things up till they throw one over us. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to say this. Now, you go pulling them up. They'll run some things by you, but their option is a little different. But you're right. I mean, they're going to run the football, but then they catch you. They don't throw it a bunch, but they catch you with big plays when they do throw it, and they're a good team. I'm going to tell you, Mike just told on himself. And that Warren Motors, that was a big-time softball team back in the day. Now, Mike must be an athlete now. Mike got a little bit of ability.
Yeah. Well, they had Warren Motors. You had Jerry's Caterers. They traveled all over the country playing softball.
I did that when I was in Birmingham. I played that circuit and traveled it. So
the things you learn on the Jimbo Fisher call-in
That's
show.
why I know when he said, well, that was before my time. I played after that, but I remember those teams.
Always great to start with Mike from Jacksonville. We've got callers standing by. We're going to take a break, come right back and get Dylan. The FSU radio broadcast are now available for free on your mobile device. Download the FSU Game Day app from the App Store or Google Play. The FSU Game Day app is presented by Alert Today, Alive Tomorrow, a pedestrian and bicycle safety initiative funded by the Florida Department of Transportation. The Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show, live from the 4 Points by Sheraton, will continue after these messages.
You're watching the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show. Have a question for the coach? Call 877-996-6537 now. That's 877-99-KNOWLES.
Back to the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show from the Sheraton 4 Points in downtown Tallahassee. Telephone calls waiting. They're lined up. Jimbo, you ready for some more?
Let's roll, boy.
Okay, let's talk to Dylan. We promised Dylan before the break from Tallahassee. Go ahead, Dylan. You're on the air.
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
Good, Dylan. How you, buddy?
I'm doing good. Hey, just a quick question for you. I know you talk about not looking into forward weeks, taking a week at a time, focusing on the opponent for Saturday. But I want to talk to you about Clemson a little bit. Do you think that they are now the team to beat in the ACC, or is this another year where they're just way hyped up and we're going to go up there and take it from them again?
The team to beat for us is Georgia Tech. That's what we're worried about. Hey, they've got a great team. Clemson's got a great program they have. They've been one of the top programs in the country in the last few years. I mean, they've been right there and won a lot of big games. Won the Orange Bowl a couple years ago. Won a big bowl game a year ago against Oklahoma. Dabo's got a great program. We just got to get to that point. We got to take care of Georgia Tech, and then we got to play a great game against Syracuse. And I know that we're such a young team. We can't afford to be looking around, and any team can't do that. I don't care if you're young or old, but they are a great program.
First Clemson call of the season, Coach.
Yes.
Only 3 weeks ahead of time. Dylan, appreciate the telephone call, and we'll be talking about Clemson in about 2.5 weeks. 1-877-99-NOLE toll-free number if you want to connect via telephone. You can also tweet a question to Jimbo by using hashtag Jimbo. Crawdad is in Huntsville, Alabama, and Crawdad is on the phone, and you're next. Go ahead.
Hey, good evening, Coach Eugene.
Good evening.
Hey, Coach, great win on Saturday. It looks like our young team's growing up. In the second half, they dominated a team that's much, much better than their record, and congrats on that.
You're exactly right.
Hey, Coach, if you could, I think the job that Coach Brew is doing with the young tight ends and Izzo's blocking and Saunders looks like he's starting to get the picture there. What's your assessment of the young tight ends and the job Coach Bruce is doing? Thanks a lot, and go Noles.
Bruce doing a great job with that group now. We said that was one of our most talented groups, but very, very young. And I said during the year you'll start to see those guys emerge. Izzo is becoming a complete player, blocking, catching, all the things he can do, multiple positions. And Maven is really coming. You saw the catch he made the other day and some of the catches. As this guy gets it figured out too now, he's going to be a big, big-time player. I mean, these guys got a chance to play – not only be great players here, but I think they can play in the league for a long time. I really do. I mean, they're that talented. They can get vertical. They have size. They can catch the football. They can block. They're very athletic. They're strong. I mean, these guys are really going to be good football players. And Bruce, not only Brad talks about Bruce as a recruiter. He's a tremendous recruiter, but he's a tremendous football coach. He's doing a great job with those guys.
Okay, Crawdad, thanks for your call. And the comment was about tight ends. Ryan Izzo caught his second touchdown pass.
Yes, he did.
A little crossing route. You like that call on that play, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Now, when he gets to him now, he's doing a good job with it.
Bill is in Tampa. Bill, go ahead. You're on the air with Jimbo.
Good evening, Coach and Gene. Congratulations on the win over Louisville, and good luck Saturday night against Georgia Tech.
Thank you, Bill.
2 questions for you. You mentioned it in the pregame show on the radio, and it was mentioned during the game on the radio as well, that Kermit is now learned to utilize his speed without the ball. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? And secondly, with Trey Marshall out injured, is Ramsey back to safety an option?
I mean, it can be. We have the ability to put him in there and do some things, but at the same time, you weaken yourself at corner. So, but we'll mix and match. We got some of those young corners can play, other safeties can play. We'll have multitude of things that we'll do there. But Kermit, what I mean by playing without the ball, as a receiver, as a back, you can give it to you. Okay, as a receiver, you got to run as faster to create space to get it, so they can throw it to you. And sometimes that's hard for guys that have never really done it or played true receiver, and all the multitude of things that can happen and with the zone coverage, man coverage, outside leverage, inside leverage, different things that go on. It's much more complicated than people think. And what he's learning to do is quit thinking as he's doing. He knows his assignments well enough now. His routine is good. His technique is better. And now he's using that speed and athleticism. And then you see when he gets the ball what he can do.
All right, Bill from Tampa, thanks for your question. Always a great question for Bill. Generally, he's our first or second caller, but he had to wait in line. And speaking of Kermit, I see where Dalvin, at least in an article I read yesterday, I believe it was, admitted that Kermit was faster than he was. Did he admit that finally?
Oh, yeah, no. He's never not admitted it. Kermit now, you got to remember, Kermit's the third fastest 100 meters in high school history as a 10-1 100-meter guy.
Wow.
And the other one we had here, too, was Marvin Bracey, who was the fastest. Who ended up leveling and going to pro track. But, I mean, they were real good friends. They say they're cousins. I don't know if they're best friends or cousins. I ain't figured it out yet. But Kermit's got world-class speed. I mean, and what he's learning to do now is put his pads on and carry it in his pads. He did on kickoffs and things when he's got the ball, but now he's learning to do it the other way. But I'm going to say this, in pads, I'd be interested in pads watching run because that daggone 4 runs good in pads too.
All right, Knowles fans, you can win a VIP experience at KnowlesContest.com, brought to you by Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. The Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show, live from the 4 Points by Sheridan, will continue after these messages.
Welcome back to the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show, live from downtown at the 4 Points Sheridan. Once again, Gene Deckerhoff and head coach Jimbo Fisher.
To the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show. Good to see everybody here tonight, and those of you listening on radio on the IMG Seminole Radio Network, our flagship station, 103.1 The Wolf, and also those of you watching on ABC 27, thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. We learn something new every week. We get ready for the second half of the season. It begins in Atlanta on Saturday evening, 7 o'clock, Florida State, Georgia Tech, and it is the Georgia Tech homecoming game, Coach.
Yep. I got a whiteout.
Yeah, a whiteout, homecoming, and
homecoming.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, somebody's got to have a homecoming, and ours is against North Carolina State on the 14th of November. Time for the Ask the Coach segment, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, your home for the right stuff, the low price every day. Submit your questions for the coach on Twitter and use hashtag Jimbo, or click on the Ask the Coach button located on Seminoles.com, and that's exactly what Chad from New York did, Coach. Chad from New York via Seminoles.com. Why do you leave your offensive line on the field during a timeout? They stand out on the field, and all the other guys are over huddled around you. Why?
Because those big guys, we get the message to them. For them guys to walk all the way over and walk all the way back, I just leave them out there and let them go. Hey, and plus those linemen stink worse. They smell worse.
Chad, Chad, there you go. Straight from the head coach. That's the reason why those big guys stay on the field. Our Ask the Coach segment, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Sometimes you learn more than you really want to learn on the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show. Now, back to the telephone call. Anybody got a question here? Want to grab the microphone? Well, we'll get a phone call. We'll get Diane. Bubba from Tallahassee, you're on the air with Jimbo. Go ahead. Bubba.
Jimbo Nation.
What's up, big guy?
Doing good, Coach. I just wondered if you knew the nest of yellow jackets is easier to kill before they got stirred up.
You're right there. We need to get them while they're in the hive, don't we? While they're down in the ground. take care of it. That's going to be tough. They'll be ready to play. You know that.
Okay. Bubba from
Or Sean McGuire.
We can get those games under control, but those games have been pretty tight. But Sean's ready to play. If we had to put Sean in the game, I feel very comfortable with Sean right now. Sean's a heck of a player and practiced very well, and like I said, we feel very comfortable with him. So he'll get his shot before it's over with.
Okay, Bubba from Tallahassee, Jimbo Nation, talking about Yellow Jackets getting fired up. Diane, you're next. Go ahead.
Hey, Jimbo.
Hey, Diane.
I was watching the Packers and the Chargers this Sunday, and during that game on one series, they had 2 back-to-back calls, about like we did on Saturday. But I wanted you to kind of tell the people who don't know, like one was encroachment, one was line up in the neutral zone. They all had the same 5-yard penalty, and they're all offsides. So why wouldn't they just call them offsides? I know the encroachment is.
now she's trying to give me a headache.
But now is not the in the neutral zone? Is that not? Am I not correct in saying that's the length of the football on either side of the line?
Yes, I mean right where that tip of that ball is, and you cannot cross it at all. And see, but on those, if they're on defense now, the ball still can be snapped and ran, and then you get a free play. If they jump into the neutral zone, the same thing unless you move on offense. Now, on offense, if you do that or move, it's an immediate dead ball as soon as you move. So it's a whole different – you can get a free play on offense from that. But at the end of the day, you got motion, you got encroachment, you got offsides. They're all 5 yards.
5 yards now.
It would be easier to clean it up that way. I agree with you.
Okay. If you have a question and you're here on this Wednesday night at the Sheridan by 4 points, come up and ask Jimbo face to face. From hiking and biking to dining and dancing, Tallahassee has plenty to do before and after every FSU home game. We know that. When planning your next trip, visit Tallahassee.com, and soon you'll be saying, "I heart Tally 2." The Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show, live from the 4 Points by Sheridan, will continue after these messages.
You're watching the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show on WTXL ABC 27. Now, here's the voice of the Seminoles, Gene Deckerhoff, and head coach, Jimbo Fisher.
At the 4 Points by Sheridan, downtown Tallahassee, and our show is continuing. We've had a number of calls from Jacksonville, Tampa, a Twitter question, an Ask the Coach question from New York, and you could be next, 1-877-99-NOLS toll-free number. Before we get back to the telephone calls, let's take time to take a look at the Gym Collection Gym Stat of the Week. And the Gym Collection is specializing in the finest jewelry and service in Tallahassee since 1977. And here is our Gym Collection Gym Stat of the Week, Coach. And it involves number 4. Dalvin Cook has scored 10 rushing touchdowns, while FSU opponents to this point have managed just 1 rushing touchdown in 6 games. FSU ranks first in the country for rushing TDs allowed. That's a tremendous accomplishment for our defense.
It really is. I mean, that starts. You got to be able to stop the run. You're going to be a great defense. I don't care.
And it's sort of ironic, I guess, or is it maybe coincidental? We're taking a look at the Gym Collection Gym Stat of the Week, and we're talking about rushing touchdowns allowed, only 1, and we're taking on a team that lives by the run. And
you're exactly right.
They've led the nation in rushing touchdowns, I think, the last 7 or 8 years since Paul Johnson's been their coach.
No doubt. I mean, they know how to do it. Paul knows how to do it. It's going to be a heck of a challenge for us now. Yeah. It really is.
Last year, they had those big, they call them B-backs. They had 3 of them. Sinji was 1. They had 3 of them. We couldn't keep out of the end zone.
We couldn't. They did a good job. They got us up front, too. They did a good job in the offensive line.
All right, 1-877-99-NOLS. That's your Gym Stat of the Week. Our next caller is Michael from Atlantic Beach, Jacksonville area. Go ahead, Michael. You're on the air.
Hi, Coach.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I've got a couple of questions. One, what do you think of how Duke defended Georgia Tech? And 2, on our defensive line, sometimes they're standing up, milling around and everything, and I've always thought that if you're up high, you're easier to block. What about that?
Well, on that deal now, you don't understand how much trouble that caused you on offense. Where those guys line up, where they end up making calls. When you also line up on the ground, you make yourself where you're at. And in those situations on third down, trying to create leverage points, different blitz angles, I know this, it's a pain to go against when you have to go on the other side of it. And it takes a lot of work and time to work on. So I like doing that. I actually do. I mean, you guys you can stand up. You can still play with leverage and get low. Duke did a great job against Georgia Tech. They played them well 2 years in a row. Duke is on defense, and it was a 26-20 game there, and they ended up pulling away 34-20 and ended up. But they're doing a real nice job and did some really good things on their defensive side when they played. Yes, that film was we did watch that.
Okay, Michael from Atlantic Beach. When the defensive line stands, is that dime rabbit?
At times. Sometimes it's dime, and sometimes it's nickel. It can be, doesn't have to be. You just stand them up on third and passing situations and trying to create, how they, you all of a sudden you make a Mike call. In other words, Mike, where the Mike linebacker is, and that tells everybody who to block when they're lined up. Well, all of a sudden they're milling around. You cause confusion. You cause seams. You cause doubt, and it also takes a lot of, quarterback, it's a lot of strain how you dissect what's coming at you, too. And then when you add blitzes to it, it even becomes tougher.
Okay, Michael, that's the reason why the defensive linemen are standing up. Tatum is in Tallahassee, and Tatum has a question for Jimbo. Go ahead, Tatum.
So you hear it's going to be a whiteout there up in Atlanta. Well, evidently we're going to have to make sure the Noel Nation shows out like we do. We travel real well to Atlanta, so that should be good. That's more of a statement than a question. But my question to you is regarding the how you defend the triple option there. It seems like you've been recruiting some gigantic monsters on the defensive tackle position, which is excellent. How do you get your safeties to fill gaps and worry about the over-the-top trickeration?
Well, I mean, also your backers and your ends got to do a great job on that, too. Their tackles got to play it, and they'll read those guys a lot when they dive and give it to them. Those ends got to take the air out of the ball, out of the space, and play the quarterback and make the ball get out. And then your corners or safeties got to rotate. And off the rotation, you got to be able to run the other safety back to the middle of the field or play in quarters and match it as it comes out. And your backers are going to be very important. Whoever's plugging and whoever's getting over the top or vice versa, when they're inside out or outside in. But, I mean, all those gap control things and also the different pressures and things in which you're able to create and try to get after them. But it is on those wing guys, everybody talks about stopping the run. As soon as you do that and you run down and all of a sudden there's one of those backs up the seam or on a rail route, it's tough. That's what makes that offense so tough to handle. And you remember, now Paul was the offensive coordinator years ago when that thing got originated over at Georgia Southern. People remember Tracy Ham?
Yeah.
Broke all those records at Georgia Southern. They first won those 1AA national championships. They can throw. There's a lot of passing in that. He's exactly right. It takes a lot of discipline on defense to be able to play both.
Speaking of linebackers and ends, are we getting healthier in those two positions?
A little bit. I mean, I think so. I mean, ends were okay. Linebackers have still been banged up. Terrence is getting healthy, but I don't know if he'll be able to make it quite this week.
Okay, Tatum, thanks for your call and thanks for your question about football. A reminder from Budweiser, great times are waiting. designated driver. The Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show live from the 4 Points by Sheraton will continue after these messages.
You're watching the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show. Have a question for the coach? Call 877-996-6537 now. That's 877-99-KNOWLES.
Back to the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show. It's a Wednesday. Where else would you be but tuned in to the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show? 1-877-99-KNOWLES toll-free number, or hashtag Jimbo if you want to tweet a question, and we'll get it on the air this evening. And also, if you have a question and you're here at the Sheraton, 4 Points by Sheraton, you can come forward and ask a question, and that's what we're going to do next. Go ahead.
Hi, Jerry from Tallahassee. My question probably falls into what Dennis the Menace would call dumb old girl question. But on short-yarded situations, a yard or less, we often see the heavies come in for all the blocking and so forth. What I've always wondered about is the quarterback exchange at the snap so difficult that you would never put, say, a Dalvin Cook or a good hands person, but somebody other than the quarterback in there to do a sneak?
I mean, under the center.
Under center.
It would take some. You could do it. But you would have to take time out of practice and really work at it, because it seems easy, but it's not. And also just the repetitions on such a critical play. You know what I'm saying? Now, people do it. You see them do it in the shotgun all the time.
Right.
But you very rarely see them do it underneath. It would have to be something that you really planned, and you could do it. But then the problem with sneaking, which everybody knows, which we tried the other day going inside, which you usually try to get some movement. But when they can put 3 or 4 guys in those A gaps, I don't care. You can't get in there. And believe it or not, an art of quarterback sneaking, Tom Brady does it the best I've ever seen in the NFL, who hits it on a run. It's harder than – everybody says, well, just get the ball and sneak it in there. Mm-hmm. It's actually hard to sneak. I mean, it takes work to do it with the right way to do it. You could do it, but it would be a lot of practice time.
All right.
Okay, Jerry.
Another going way around, but she's making me think as I was thinking about it, but it
quarterback sneak. It's not an easy play.
Not when they know you're going to do it in certain situations.
Yeah. 1-877-99-NOLS toll-free number. And we have a caller that's been waiting through the break. It's John from Crawfordville. Go ahead, John. You're on the air.
Yes, I just got a couple comments. Just want to let you know we enjoyed having you at the What Color game a couple weeks ago.
I can't
seemed
comment
like
on
you had
that.
a good
I'm not
time
allowed to
there.
comment. You get
And
me in trouble.
I don't want to comment on no players or nothing.
All right.
But my other comment was your defensive lineman, I believe is Stample.
Yeah.
He played an excellent game this week. He seemed like he was going on both sides of the field. So that's all. And you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. He was one of our three guys that were defensive players of the week, and probably had his best game. I mean, he's really healthy now, and his power, his speed. He's so athletic, can run. He had a sack, forced fumbles. I mean, he did a great job, and he's really a big part of what we do on defense. He's playing really good football.
He's a red shirt senior. He could have
Yes.
he could have gone to the NFL, but said he was coming back. Last year, he battled through a pectoral injury.
He got hurt. Remember in the Clemson game?
And then he came back and played in the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
And believe it or not, he was kind enough to come and do an interview with us after that loss in the Rose Bowl on the radio network.
He's a class young man. He's a great young man now.
Did he take control of one series? He had a sack. He had a pass breakup, and then he had a thrown for loss tackle. 3 plays in a row.
Right in a row, exactly.
Wow. John from McCullough, thanks for reminding us of a tremendous game by Niall Lawrence Stample from down in Fort Pierce area. 1-877-99-NOLS toll-free number. Let's talk to Sean from Tallahassee. Sean, you're on the air with Jimbo. Go ahead.
Good evening, guys. I got 2 questions for you.
All right.
First one is going to be, have you reached out to anyone in the ACC to get an explanation on the missed color calls? And number 2, aside from football, how's Mario Bender recovering?
Mario's doing well. He's recovering well. I mean, there has been no setbacks. It's going to take a while because they had to do that second procedure on him, but he's doing very well. And, yes, we do send them in and get our responses back, and they were very good about it. And usually if there's a mistake made and you see it, they usually admit to it and what goes on there. But I say this all the time. I don't think people make missed calls on purpose. I don't think they do it on purpose. And that's just what happened, and we missed a call, and they missed a call, and move on.
All right. Thanks, Sean, for the call. On that note, Jimbo, did you realize we should have had this as our gym stat of the week? Georgia Tech is the least penalized team in college football. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know.
And the fewest penalty yards assessed on them in the country. That's an amazing, and they do it year in and year out.
Yep.
I don't know how that happens, but that's the way it is statistically. Josh from Long Island is our next caller. Go ahead, Josh. You're on the air.
How you guys doing tonight?
Doing
Fine,
good.
Josh. How are you, buddy?
I just had a quick comment. My
Okay.
about like 12, 13 years ago, I actually had a good chance to walk on playing basketball Division I at Iona College. So I just wanted to commend you, Coach, about exactly about putting Javion in, and now being a coach. I understand how much courage it takes to be in, but I really just called to just congratulate you and just say how happy I am that you had the courage and you've seen what he did in practice, because I do know how it feels to run the sprints, even though you feel like you never did the thing in the first place in the game that got you upset. So I just wanted to congratulate you and say thanks and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. It is. I mean, it's very rewarding as a coach to see guys like that come on and do those kind of things. It's very, very hard. And like I say, we love for other guys. It happens quite a bit, different places, and I'm glad it's happening for us. And he came on at the right time. He's been a big part of what we're doing.
Okay, Javion Elliott, a walk-on from Panama City, Rutherford High School, got his first career interception. That was a big interception.
Oh, huge.
Huge interception against the Louisville Cardinals. Thanks for your telephone call from Long Island. He played at Iona College.
Yes.
Jimmy Valvano coached there. Pat
Yes, he
Kennedy
did.
coached there. That brings back memories. Iona College.
Big Jeff Rulin played there.
Jeff
Good
Rulin
team.
played for him and got him. Never get in a trivia contest with Jimbo Fisher. I was trying to think of who that big guy was, Rulin, and I couldn't come up with it. Right there he was, Coach. That's amazing. I learned something every Wednesday night. Visit your neighborhood Winn-Dixie store for all your tailgating needs. Winn-Dixie, the official supermarket of the Florida State Seminoles. The Jimbo Fisher College Show live from 4 Points by Sheridan will continue after these messages.
You're watching the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show on WTXL ABC 27. Now, here's the voice of the Seminoles, Gene Deckerhoff, and head coach, Jimbo Fisher.
Welcome back to the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show. For those of you watching on ABC 27, if you want to call in, dial that long-distance number, 1-877-99-NOLES. Although it is a local program, you still have to dial long-distance, 1-877. It's toll-free, 1-877-996-6537. Or you can come forward here at the 4 Points by Sheridan and ask a question face-to-face, as our next questioner is going to do. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, Coach. Hi, Gene. I'm Kristen from Tallahassee.
Yeah, Kristen.
And I have a question, and I'm going to read it because I want to make sure I get the wording correct. Sorry. How do you determine when is a good time to go for a 2-point conversion, and are there a specific set of circumstances that have to be in place?
Yeah, I mean, it's generally in the fourth quarter. You know, it could be early fourth, mid fourth, late fourth, depending on how the game's going, or you're coming from behind, possibly if you're 3 scores down. You know, where you could get back within 2 scores and something like that, or get it to 2 scores to a 1-score game from that perspective. But also the time in the game. If you do it too early, you can cost yourself points. A lot of time, there's charts that say it all the time, but I don't like to do it until either late third, early fourth, in the fourth quarters. And then, it could be something where, like the other day, we got ahead of Miami 29-24, 6-7 minutes to go in the game. Well, I know if they scored, making it go up 6. I mean, if they kick a field goal, they ain't going to win. The only way they could beat us is to score a touchdown anyway, so they're going to go for it. And then if they kick the next point, they'd beat us. So we went for 2 to try to be up by 7. So if they did score, being up by 5, they still had to score a touchdown to beat us. You know what I mean? All different scenarios like that, whether you're coming back, getting ahead, and it's usually later in the game in the fourth quarter.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Kristen, thank you for that question. We've had 3 questions from the studio audience tonight. And
all good questions.
All have been great football questions. And, oh, by the way, all have been from ladies.
The best questions always come from the ladies.
There you go. All right, Kristen, thank you very much.
You know why?
Yeah, how about a round of applause? Yeah,
the guys think they know everything. The ladies ask.
Okay. On that note, Phil, do you know everything from Beachton? You're on the air with Jimbo. Go ahead.
Hey, guys, I'll just get right to it, and thank God we're 6-0. We have learned you talk about the entire team. We've heard you talk about the entire team needing to evolve. We saw the offensive line make a few mistakes this weekend that we haven't seen in other games. I think you would agree that the offensive line needs to evolve, and that evolution actually would not occur without intelligent design. I've learned a long time ago to let go and let Jimbo, and with you and Coach Trickett in charge of the offensive line and being the intelligence for the design, I'm sure they will evolve. What do you think?
They will. You really go back and watch the film, getting much, much better. The penalties they had the other day were motion penalties. I mean, it wasn't a lot of missed assignments or turning guys loose, which you say is bad football. It's anxious, nervous, wanting to do well, wanting to get a jump on a guy and, get their hat or their hand, because they knew they were playing against good people. Those guys up from Rankins and those guys and Fields, those guys, one was a Big 12 player of the year at one time. Rankins is going to be a high draft pick, 97 is a big, strong guy inside. Their backers were quick. They were wanting to do it too much. And if you go back and look at the major problem in the offensive line, I think we got beat on one big sack around the edge, but in a twist game once, but a lot of them were self-inflicted with just trying too hard. That's what I say, just relax. In the second half, we went out and did that and didn't have those penalties. We moved the football up and down the field.
5 consecutive possessions, 5 touchdowns. We only punted one time, and that was with 42 seconds left. We're trying to kill We've made one more first down. We'd kill the clock. But 5 consecutive touchdowns by Florida State's offense in the game against a very good Louisville team. Chris from South Carolina is our next caller. Go ahead, Chris. You're on the air with Jimbo.
Hey, Gene. Hey, Coach. How y'all doing?
Good, Chris. How you, buddy?
Coach, all right. The last time I talked to you was 2 years ago when y'all came to South Carolina. But my question is that with the addition of Brad Loening now, now with the players that we have now and the coaches that you have on defense, how difficult is it for the coaching staff and you also to keep our players disciplined on the Georgia Tech offense by the style of offense that they run? Because we want to see this type of offense once a year. And I go back to the Georgia Tech game, the championship game last year, and they put up some points against us. But how difficult is it for you guys to keep the players fundamentally sound and keep them on their assignments and be disciplined by the things they do? Thank you for the phone call.
It is very. And it's more important, not only the discipline of the assignment, but the technique in which you got to play. You're going to play cut blocks. You got to give yourself up and play selfless. Because the first thing on defense to do is I want to go make plays. You know what I'm saying? And, okay, sometimes I got to take that dive. Okay, I got to take it. And if they pull it, I'm not going to make the tackle. I just got to take it away and make him pull it so the next guy gets his assignment, the guy gets to pitch. It is a very selfless, tedious way to play. You know what I'm saying? But you must do it. Everybody's got to do your job. And you may make the tackle, you may not, but you by making them pull it or not make the play can help just as much. And, the thing about it is last year they did. They hit us, and we were banged up front in the defensive line a lot going into that game. And they played very well inside. Now, you remember 3 years ago when we played them in that game, it was a low-scoring game. It was 21-15. We played great on defense. So hopefully we'll get one of those games back.
All right.
We'll score a lot of points like we did last year and then play good defense on that one. I'll be all right.
Combine the two. Chris, thanks for your call from South Carolina. The question about discipline against a team that runs the triple option like Georgia Tech does. The party is downtown on Friday night at Clayman Plaza, preceding each FSU home football game. The FRLA Friday night block party kicks off at 5 and is presented by the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association, Tri-Eagle Sales, CenturyLink Prism, Visit Florida, and Kia Autosport. The Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show, live from the 4 Points by Sheridan, will continue after these messages. Back to the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show. Coach, it's amazing how quickly an hour goes by when we get in serious conversation with serious football fans that wear garnet and gold. But we're almost to the top of the hour, and it's time to talk X's and O's, keys to the game. We're playing an option team. Once every blue moon, we play an option team, and it seems like we play Georgia Tech almost every year now. But
Exactly.
What's it going to take to beat Georgia Tech at their
Well,
game?
again, we got to win the turnover battle. We can't turn it over. We got to find ways to create it. We got to eliminate the penalties. We can't have the self-inflicted wounds on our side because we're going to have limited possessions, and we can't do it on defense that way. Got to create big plays, stop big plays. You know what I mean? And playing that run. And then third down and red zone, but then we got to play with it. There's going to be a toughness and an energy in this game. They're going to come out. This game here is going to try. They're going to try and give that ditch effort to try to turn that season around, and we're going to get everything they got. And great discipline and toughness. I mean, we got to play with great physical toughness, but we got to have great discipline to have the eye control, to be disciplined to take what we're supposed to take. And on both sides, because they limit your possessions on offense. So you're not going to get it quite as much as you normally do. So you need to capitalize on the opportunities you get.
This is a team that makes very few penalties, a team that prides themselves. They've blocked 13 kicks, I think, in the last 3 years. They play all three phases of the game extremely well, don't
they? Really do. Paul's a heck of a coach. He's a great guy, good football coach, been around a long time, won at all levels of ball, a lot of different places. He knows how to win.
What is it like playing a team on their homecoming?
I don't know.
Does that make a difference?
That field's 100 yards long, got 10-yard end zone, is 50-something yards wide. So that's just louder, maybe.
Okay.
Hey, you block out what you can't control. That's clutter.
Keys to the game: eliminate the clutter. And we appreciate you tuning in to the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show every week. We still have time for a few more tweet questions, and this is from @65 Dolphin. With the injury to Trey Marshall, does it mean more playing time for Elliott? Javian Elliott.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He'll be in the mix and playing in there, and we'll have other guys in the rotation at different positions and different scenarios in there. But, yes, he will definitely see the field more.
From Javian Elliott, who picked off a pass for the first time in his career, former walk-on. I think most folks that follow Florida State know the story. From Rutherford, sat out a couple of years, decided to come walk on the team, and that's a tough business.
It really is.
A walk-on a football team. @Davis Sutton 3 is our next question. How come Bobo Wilson returns punts as opposed to someone like Jalen or Kermit?
Well, the first thing with the punt's catching it. You got to remember something. The hardest, and you know, Sonny, you can ask everybody on your football team. You catch a punt? Oh, yeah, I can catch one. You ask the D lineman, oh, I can catch one. O lineman, oh, I can stand them all back there. When let them guys run at him, it ain't like a kickoff now. No. First thing you got to do is secure the ball. But he does a real good job at it. And but the number one thing is doing. We've worked Jalen back here. Kermit does work at it every day. But the number one thing is securing that football and punts. As we saw that first game, we had to go through 3 guys. And it's not really just everybody thinks about a big play. When you want to catch it, try to get a first down. That's the key. And if you get more than that, that's great. But he does the best job of catching the most consistent.
All right, that's from Davis Sutton.
With the most ability.
3. Jalen and Kermit handle kickoff returns, and they have been doing an excellent job. We don't get that many kickoff returns, Coach. I know you like that number, don't you? Yeah. Okay. We don't want to have to return kicks. That means the other team's not scoring. Here comes another question. Oh, it's flying around us. We got a few more minutes, Coach. Blake Lastinger says, can you share how the GPS is used and how often? Do we have time to talk about the GPS? That's a complicated thing you use.
We could use we could use 2 days, let alone an hour.
Yeah, but basically it's a monitoring system that every player has. It's
You say when it's used? You say when it's used?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day of the year.
Yeah.
Every day, whether they lift, they run, they work out in the off season, during the season, every practice, every pre-practice. I mean, what they do, their speeds, everything is documented and kept in record. And I look at first thing when I walk in the morning, they had that report sitting right on my desk as soon as I walk in. In the meeting room first thing, and we judge. And I go through every player, get our injury report, go through that thing, and judge how much time or certain guys need cut back during the week, or if they're getting too much. And I can see their body starting to break down by accelerations, decelerations, change of directions, quickness. When
told you we need an hour to discuss the
GPS it gets crazy. But they all have a little packet in the back, and they wear one every pad. They wear one. Every day.
Yeah, when I'm in the locker room and we do your post-game segment, there's a basket that the players put the devices in. That comes out of the pads. Now, when you're lifting weights, you don't have pads on. Where do you have?
There's a little satchel in the back that they can just drop it down in your weight. We got in the workout shirts.
Oh, okay. The GPS system. Here's another one. Seminole in your face is a hashtag. Do you think, considering the position we're in right now, we would be able to go all the way and make it to the playoffs? That's a good question, Seminole in your face.
They know that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah,
that's our ultimate goal, to win the national championship and be there. What we have to do is live by our day-to-day goals and the process of what we do. And if we keep taking care of our business and just get better each day, we'll keep sawing wood, keep climbing that mountain. We'll see.
College football playoffs the second year. We were part of the 14 playoff last year, and that's the goal each year, to make it back to the playoffs. Seminole in face, there is the answer. How about @Lois Fiorelli? What do you mean when you say the offensive line missed a declaration?
You declare the Mike linebacker. Now, the Mike can be anybody you want him to be based on how you want to block the play. And if you declare it on a certain defense to the wrong guy, the play gets blocked improperly, and because that triggers once you make that declaration, that tells everybody else how they're going to block the play. And if they make a wrong Mike declaration, you block it wrong, you leave somebody unblocked that way, and that's what I mean. The declaration of the Mike linebacker. Run. If you ever listen on TV, you watch those quarterbacks in the Pro Bowl like Brady and those guys that walk up. 52's the Mike. 52's the Mike. 50. And no, 45's the Mike. All they're doing is setting protection or blocking schemes in the run and pass to tell everybody how they're going to react and who has who. And that's what you got to do.
So do you call one play, but there are different blocking assignments?
Well, you can by how you declare it, they can block it different. It tells them to block different people.
All right, that's at Lois Fiorelli. Okay. Jonathan saying it's time to wrap this thing up. Okay, and so is television. This has been the Jimbo Fisher Call-In Show, our Seminole IMG Sports Network crew. Chris Culp, Jonathan Shalacy, Seminole IMG Sports Network, a division of IMG College. America's home for college sports. Gene Deckeroff for Coach Fisher saying good night and go Noles.